south end is giving a cloud base of 600 feet, Stansted 200 feet, and Watersham is 300 feet. We had hoped that it would lift, but absolutely no way. The others have all gone back, and yeah, I just filmed this. So this week I will just talk a little bit about the airfield. I know some people who regularly watch a channel see me doing the same takeoffs and the same landings each time, but basically I think a lot of people like to see the flying that we do from the hill here. But actually, if you look at the analytics, there's new viewers all the time, and I think part of the flying that we do is, well, it's what we like doing. It's where we get our fun, where we get our enjoyment. And it was really nice from the comments on last week's video, which actually highlighted the three of us flying to Seething, really showed what our GA flying is all about. But what I will do is I'll talk a little bit about Nayland here and the hill that we fly from, and I'll use some of the old footage and the drone shots that Terry did for me some time ago to give you some idea of what it's like. But anyway, thank you very much for supporting the channel and having a look, and yeah, let me know what you think.
My name is Tim Palmer. I fly a Jodel DR1050 out of this farm strip in East Anglia. I'm using Terry's drone shots to give a wider airfield perspective, but they don't really show the whole picture. The 600 metre runway has three main profiles: a flat section on the top of the hill, that slope itself, and a shallower, flatter slab at the bottom, which can get waterlogged in the winter or after heavy rain. These profiles roughly divide the strip into thirds. It is a one-way in and one-way out airfield. Most of the time we approach overhead from the east to the north of the village and at right angles to the runway. We then fly a left-hand circuit to land uphill on 3-2. Because of the nature of the airfield, this often means we are landing or taking off with a tailwind. It is also important to remember that once you descend below the top of the hill, pilots at the beginning of their takeoff run will not be able to see you. It's also true to say that at the start of the takeoff run, you have no sight of where the runway drops over the brow of the hill. To help with this, these trees on the horizon make for a good reference, and it will keep you on track. Most of the time we're hoping to keep level or climbing as the hill falls away, but it's not always the case. Then you have to pole forward over the brow of the hill and let the slope do the work for you. None of this really deals with the issue of slope gradient, which worries a lot of people. This Luton Minor takeoff is one of the best clips to show just how steep this is. The Luton Miner was one of many aircraft owned by John over the years. Although not flying now, John has well over 5,000 hours in his logbook and has flown over 200 different types. As a point of interest, I sold John his first aircraft when he bought Golf Alpha Tango Alpha Golf from me back in 1985. Tag was my first Jodel ambassador, which I sold so I could buy the Nord NC854S, which I owned for must have been 19 years. Although I really liked the DR1050, at this time it had to be flown on a full C of A, and this was proving too expensive for me. I was thinking how I could best describe the actual slope to people, and we came up with the idea of a simple bit of surveying. On a very basic level, I suggested we used a right angle triangle, measuring the horizontal and dividing this by the vertical to give a gradient for the slope. I then converted this figure to a percentage via the internet.
Right, we'll take our third measurement.
We did this a number of times to get an average slope for the hill, and finally got a result of 1 in 7 or 14.3%.
Who's that halfway up the runway? Walking.
Yeah. Two walking.
Yeah. See it.
John and I had been flying locally and returned to find Duncan and Rob halfway up the field. It turned out that they were preparing to film my landing. No pressure here then. You can compare the cockpit view to the film taken by Rob.
Want me to stop?
No, not for the moment.
Okay. Yep.
The Underwing camera gives another perspective from another day. To finish off, I've included some of the machines that John has owned landing back on the hill. As well as this, I've included Duncan doing an excellent job under very challenging conditions in the D18. This is more than likely the last video I'll be putting out before Christmas, so I would just like to say thank you for your support, and I'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a very happy New Year.